everyone, this is Tutu Mora here with the Y, bringing you tips and tools to feel well in your body, mind, and spirit. So something I've been hearing from a lot of people is that sitting at a computer all day or looking at their phone all day, sitting in general, and the fact that we're moving around a little bit less has got them feeling a little bit tense and tight in their neck and their shoulders. So today we're going to be doing another stretch that's going to help break up some of that tension, especially, like I said, in the shoulders and neck. So I'm here against a wall, but I would invite you all to lie down on the mat. I think this angle is just going to be a little bit easier to see me as if you're looking at me from above, so you can see exactly what I'm doing, and then you can replicate that lying down on the mat. So we don't need any props today, just your body and just your willingness to spend 10 minutes here to feel a little bit better. Okay, so go ahead and lay down. This will be me lying down on the mat. And I'm gonna have you bring one of your arms into almost like you're creating a little goalpost with your arm here. So it'll look about like that. The other arm can just rest at your side. So here you have your goalpost arm, and I'll be flat on the mat like this. I want you to take a second, just let those shoulders drop away from the ears. So take a nice deep breath into the chest, the shoulders, the neck, the jaw. Nice big exhale, and let's do that one more time. Letting those shoulders drop. And so now with your goalpost arm, you're going to start to open that arm out, keeping your shoulder down and away from your ears. And then you're just going to close that right back up. So almost like you've got a little chicken wing and you're flapping that little chicken wing here. Again, keeping that shoulder down. If you want to take your other arm or your other hand, place it on your shoulder just as a little feedback, because you can start to, as you open that arm out, you might be tempted to raise that shoulder as well, but see if you can keep that shoulder down and then bringing it back in. We're gonna do this a couple more times, keeping that angle of your arm, opening it out. Probably can feel a little bit of a stretch, especially down that inside of the arm. And back in. See if each time you can create a little bit more heaviness, a little bit more sink to that shoulder. And closing that again. So we're gonna do that one more time, and we're gonna hold it out. And then we're gonna take that stretch even deeper. So opening that out, keeping that shoulder down. Now we're going to straighten out that arm. So my arm is gonna come outside the frame, but see if you can straighten that all the way. Keep that shoulder down, reach through those fingertips. Then you're gonna bend again, bending at the elbow to bring that thumb in towards your armpit. And now reaching through your elbow tip. So reaching through that elbow tip, keeping your shoulder down. We're gonna straighten that arm out again. Reach through those fingertips. Ooh, big stretch. And then bending again at the elbow to bring that thumb in towards your armpit, reaching now through that elbow tip, keeping that shoulder down. Let's take that 2 more times. That's a big stretch. Last one here. And so, if you think about the position that you're in for most of the day, whether you're hunched over at a computer, maybe your posture isn't awesome, the way you're holding your mouse, the way you're holding your phone, you can let that arm rest. Take a second, feel into the difference. You can even kind of see the difference as I'm standing here, that this shoulder is now a little bit lower, a little bit heavier than that other shoulder. So let's go ahead and balance out. onto the other side, knowing that each side is gonna feel different. So if you're left or you're right-handed, that dominant side is naturally gonna be a little bit more tight. So let's now take that to the other side. Find your goalpost arm. If you want your accountability hand there as well, you can take that. And so starting to open up, just like you were doing before, that little chicken wing. And closing it back. And so yeah, if you think about, the mouse hand, the texting hand, the computer posture, watching TV or reading a book posture, and just think about how that all adds up. And so this is a great way just to, bring yourself back into alignment. Let's take 2 more here. Really keeping that shoulder down. And just a reminder, even though I'm standing against a wall, you'll be lying flat on the mat. This is just so the angle from above, you can kind of see a little bit better what we're doing. So now we're gonna open that arm out, and then we're gonna straighten the arm for that deeper stretch. So let's start to take that out. And now we're gonna straighten that arm out. Reach through those fingertips. And then you're gonna bring that thumb in again towards the armpit. Reaching now through that elbow tip away from you. And then again, straightening that arm out. Reaching through those fingertips. And then bringing that thumb in back towards your armpit. Let's take that 2 more times, just at your own pace. If I'm going a little bit faster than you would like to, take this as slow as you want. You can pause this video, take all the time you need to get the stretch that feels good for your body. Reaching through that elbow tip, and then we'll take this the last time, bringing that arm straight out, reaching through those fingertips, keeping that shoulder down. This hand is just there for accountability, so you can feel whether or not that shoulder wants to lift up into the air towards your ear. So you'll be able to feel that with your fingertips. And then thumb back in towards the armpit, reaching through that elbow tip. And then bringing that back to your goalpost arm, letting that arm drop, and then you can rest that at your side. So you can visibly see the difference here. So let's take 1 more deep breath into that high chest, shoulders, neck, and jaw. See if you can really fill that space. Letting it all go. 2 more times. Last time here. Let that breath swirl into all those little tight spots, all those spaces and places you might be holding on to any tension. And then let all of that go with your exhale. You can give yourself a little shake out. Okay. So that's your stretch for today. I hope that your neck and your shoulders are feeling a little bit looser. And if you're looking for other shoulders and neck stretches, I try to do one about once a week. So there are a bunch to look back to on the Wise YouTube channel. So join us next time for some more tips and tools to help you feel well in your body, mind, and spirit. And I'll see you next time.